If you're looking to buy an inflatable boat this year, then stay tuned because you could learn some very useful information in this video. Today we're going to be comparing the 3.4 metre air deck boat with a small portable 9.8 horsepower engine with the 3.8 metre aluminium deck boat with a larger 20 horsepower outboard. We're going to be looking at the pros and cons of each boat and, most importantly, the performance of each boat. So if you're looking to purchase an inflatable boat and you want to use it for fishing in less than ideal conditions, or you want to go out 10 miles on it, or you want to have 3 people out fishing with you perhaps in a day, then a boat like this would be ideal for you because it's very stable, there's a lot of deck space, and just have a look back through some of my previous videos. I've done a lot with this boat. I've taken it a long way offshore and never once have I felt unsafe or uncomfortable in it. And that is a really nice thing to have in an inflatable boat, the sort of range of being able to do whatever you want with it. But the one thing I will say about this boat is that it is not the easiest thing to transport. Now, yes, you can fit launch wheels to it, but with a 20 horsepower outboard on it, it's a very heavy package to move around. Even on the best of slipways, it's quite awkward. And actually, if you're going to be setting it up from the boot of a car or back of a van every time, the whole process of slatting the deck segments together and inflating it's a long one, and you know what, it's not the most comfortable and it can be quite frustrating at times. So it would suit somebody that is going to trailer a SIB, or like me, I put it up on the roof rack so that I don't have to set it up every time. Then it makes it a more enjoyable boat to use. And yeah, I always use it on a slipway. I wouldn't be able to do a beach launch with it on my own, but that is because it's a very heavy package. The trade-off is that you can use it for a wide sort of use of sort of cases, and you can go fishing with it anywhere. I would feel quite happy doing a 15-20 mile trip on this, even in less than ideal conditions. And if you're out there fishing 10 miles from shore and the weather picks up, you're grateful that you've got a big solid boat like this one. So this is the Maelstrom 3.8 meter aluminium deck with a 20 horsepower Tohatsu engine. Now, the beauty of this SIB, the 3.4 meter air deck, is that it is so easy to transport. By yourself, it's easy to get in and out of the back of a car, and it takes just 10 minutes to inflate and put it all together. So it's a really accessible boat. And if you're somebody that's just starting off getting into boating, maybe you've come from a kayak or you're getting your first boat altogether, I'd recommend something like this because it's so easy to put together. You're going to get out on it more, you're going to be able to use it more because you're not thinking, I've got to spend 40 minutes putting a boat together. It's just so easy and quick, and I can pick it up on my shoulder. I'm not a particularly big guy, so most people have no problem moving this around on a slipway. And this is the sort of boat that I would feel comfortable doing beach launches on my own with. And yeah, it's a nice light boat, and with that 9.8 horsepower outboard on the back, the Parson outboard, it's a really sort of maneuverable package, and it still has very decent performance. I can still get up on the plane, can still have a few people out with me on it. It's just going to be a boat that you're more likely to use. And for me, this is the boat that I will take with me if I'm just going out for a few hours in the evening. Or another case is, okay, I'm going to be going on a trip 300 miles up to Scotland. This is going to fit into a much smaller package where I can have a lot more stuff in the back of the van with me, whereas the bigger boat is not going to pack down anywhere near as small as one of these. And the other beauty is you don't necessarily have to start off with a 9.8 horsepower on a boat of this size. A 6 horsepower is just about enough to use on the sea. But I think if you want to get a decent bit of performance and a bit of fun out of it, go for a 9.8, because it will still get it up on the plane just fine. So yeah, great little sort of easy to transport package here with the 3.4 meter Sea Pro air deck. One of the most common mistakes I see people making when they're buying their first inflatable boat package is that they go for something that's too big and heavy for them to manage on solo launches, and therefore you're really restricted in when you can use it. And my one bit of advice to people getting into their first inflatable boat is start off with something manageable for solo launches, something that you can maneuver around the slipway, in and out the boot of your vehicle, that's not going to give you too much grief, because you want it to be an enjoyable, relaxing experience, not something that's going to stress you out and eventually lead to the sale of this boat that you've just spent a lot of money on. And always remember that you can upgrade later down the line, and once you've been in a small boat, you'll appreciate how weather and other conditions and factors affect an inflatable boat. Okay, let's just have a little look at the performance side by side of each boat flat out. As you can see, neither have any problems getting up on the plane, but I think we all know which is going to take the lead here. So the 3.4 meter air deck boat with a 9.8 horsepower outboard, you can do a lot with this boat, and actually on the day with the right conditions you can in theory go just as far out as the other boat. But where this boat really comes into its own is when you're going to be doing trips where maybe you're going to be island hopping, you're going to be beach hopping, and you want to beach the boat a lot. Because it's so maneuverable and it's so light, it's a lot easier to do that. I mean, this boat really is at home up here in the estuary. You could do a whole day going up and down the estuary on this boat. It would be very comfortable, and you can sort of stop off wherever you like. It's a lot of fun. Now, with a 9.8 horsepower outboard, yes, the top speed's not going to be quite what it is with a 20 horsepower, but even with a outboard half the size, in theory, the speed isn't that reduced. Actually, with two of us, we can still hit 15-16 knots. We can get up on the plane just fine, although the only thing to take into consideration is you are going to be running the engine at higher revs more frequently, so that's something to consider. But fuel consumption, it's all negligible really on these smaller outboards. You can go out with 10 litres for the day and cover 20 miles, no problem at all. Now, there's not as much deck space on this boat. It's a narrower boat. It's got smaller tubes. Really, 2 of you, that's going to be about the comfortable limit. Maybe 3 if you're just going to do short trips. But if you're going out fishing, 2's the limit. But if I'm out solo, this is a very comfortable, spacious boat. I can pack it out with all my fishing gear, no worries at all. Now, the one thing I will say is that I won't take this boat out in the conditions that I'll take the other boat out in. For me, if I'm going out on the open coast, this is a boat for days of nice weather where the sea's going to be pretty much flat calm. There's not going to be much wind. Because it's got smaller tubes, it sits a bit lower to the water, so there's a chance you might take a little bit more spray over the side. That is just the nature of the boat. But like I said, if you're going around the beaches, if you're going around islands, it's fantastic. And especially if you're in sheltered waterways, this is a really fun boat to have. So the stability of this 3.4 meter air deck actually is quite stable for its size, and I can still stand around just fine on my own. Yeah, it's sheltered today, we're up an estuary, but I've been out on this boat in some moderate conditions and I can still stand and comfortably cast. Now that's solo. If there's two of you, it's going to start getting a little bit wobbly when you're both trying to move around. And you know, that's not really the case where there's going to be two of you moving around a lot. Most of the time you're going to be sat on the tubes, and that's just fine. And even on a boat with small tubes like this, I can still bend down over the side and the boat's not tipping dramatically. It's just fine. You know, it's still got a lot of stability for its size, this boat. But just consider, if there's going to be a lot of you heading out and you want to go out, you know, a couple of miles from shore, you might find that it gets a little bit wobbly. It just depends on the conditions. This type of setup offers fantastic value for money. At the time of making this video, you could pick up this exact package for under £3,000. Now, I know people that pay more than that for their annual mooring fees in the marina. And if you want to see just how capable this package is, check out my Isle of Skye fishing expedition video. This right here is the ultimate SIB fishing setup, in my opinion. And I've had quite a few over the years, but this is the one that I feel most confident in. And just look at the amount of deck space it's got. You can have 3 people fishing on this quite comfortably. I've had 6 people out on this once and it's still got up on the plane. You're going to see me here literally rocking the boat, showing off just how stable it is. Now I've been out 12, 14 miles offshore in this thing and I didn't have any worries at all. It's going to get you where you want to go quickly and it's going to be comfortable. Now, one thing I will say about this sort of package is don't be tempted to go for a smaller outboard. Really, 20 horsepower is going to be the sweet spot. Any less and the performance is going to be underwhelming, but it's just one of those really capable boats that you're going to be able to do so much with. There are so many different types of inflatable boat on the market. I know it can be hard to choose the right one. That's why I made this video, to try and help you guys make an informed decision so that you can have just as much fun on yours as I have on mine. And if you want to see these boats getting put through their paces, check out my other videos. But that's it for now. If you found this useful, leave a like. If you're going to be getting yourself an inflatable boat or you've already got one, let me know down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video where hopefully I'll be out fishing on one of these boats. Cheers for watching, guys.